The Williams family had always dreamed of expanding their family. One day, they decided to adopt a little boy named Jamal. Jamal was 6 years old, with shiny black hair and bright eyes full of curiosity. He wore a blue shirt and had a shy but hopeful smile. Jamal's new mother wore a simple white dress, her blonde hair softly falling over her shoulders. His father stood tall nearby in a white shirt, his dark blonde hair slightly tousled by the breeze. The day Jamal arrived at their suburban home was filled with excitement and nerves. The house was quiet before, but now it buzzed with new energy. Jamal walked carefully through the front door, clutching a small blue backpack. The Williams family greeted him warmly, wanting him to feel loved and safe. They showed him his new room, painted light blue with stars on the ceiling. Jamal's eyes lit up when he saw the little toy car collection on the shelf. It was a small gesture, but it made him feel at home. The family sat down for dinner, chatting softly about Jamal's favorite foods and cartoons. Jamal was still shy, but he felt the warmth of the family around him. His new mother smiled gently as she passed the mashed potatoes, and his father told a funny story about when he was a kid. After dinner, Jamal wanted to explore the backyard. It was a sunny afternoon, the sky clear and blue. Jamal put on his shoes and ran outside, his blue shirt bright under the sun. He laughed as he chased after butterflies, his small feet moving quickly on the soft grass. Near the edge of the yard, a few neighbors watched from their windows. Some whispered quietly, unsure about this new boy. To them, Jamal looked different, a stranger in their mostly white neighborhood. They were unsure how to react to the Williams family adopting a black child. Jamal didn't notice the whispers. He was busy discovering the small garden, touching the colorful flowers and watching the bees buzz by. He felt happy for the first time in a long while. The Williams family had told him he was safe now, and for the first time he believed it. That evening, the family sat together on the porch. Jamal leaned against his mother, feeling comforted by her gentle touch. His father wrapped an arm around both of them, smiling at the peaceful scene. But the peace didn't last long. The next day, while Jamal played near the sidewalk, a neighbor made a phone call. The police arrived quickly, asking questions about the boy. The neighbor had called, worried about a stranger in the neighborhood. Jamal's heart pounded as officers spoke calmly with his parents, who showed them the adoption papers. The officers left after confirming Jamal was part of the Williams family, but the event left a mark. Some neighbors began to look at Jamal with suspicion, whispering about him behind closed doors. The Williams family was shocked but refused to give up. They knew that love was stronger than fear and prejudice. Jamal was their son, and they would protect him no matter what. Despite the challenges, Jamal continued to smile. He played with the few neighborhood kids who dared to come close. His laughter slowly started to fill the quiet streets, and the Williams family hoped that over time hearts would open. The day after the police visit, easy. The Williams family woke up early. He was finally for a fresh start. Jamal's mother wore her white dress again, her blonde hair neatly tied back. His father was already outside in his white shirt, helping Jamal get ready to go to the park nearby. Jamal put on his blue shirt and smiled a little. He wanted to play and make friends, but he was still unsure about the neighbors. The memory of the police visit was heavy in his mind. As they walked down the quiet street, a few neighbors watched them from their windows and doorsteps. Some looked curious, others stayed distant. Jamal's father noticed but said nothing. He held Jamal's hand tightly, giving him strength. At the park, Jamal saw some children playing tag. He hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and ran toward them. A little girl with curly hair smiled and waved. "Want to play with us?" she asked. Jamal nodded shyly and joined the game. For a while, he forgot about the neighborhood worries. He laughed and ran, feeling free. His mother and father sat on a nearby bench, watching proudly. Back at home, the Williams family prepared dinner together. Jamal helped peel carrots while his mother chopped onions. They talked about the day's small victories, Jamal making a new friend and playing outside without fear. But the neighborhood wasn't ready to accept Jamal so easily. That evening, the Williams family heard whispers from the neighbors again. Some parents warned their children not to play near Jamal. Others whispered about keeping their neighborhood safe. The words hurt, but the family stayed strong. Jamal's mother decided to take action. She wrote notes inviting neighbors to meet the family and get to know Jamal better. She hoped that if they saw how happy and kind he was, their hearts might change. The next weekend, the Williams family set up a small gathering in their backyard. They put out snacks, drinks, and some games for children. Jamal was nervous but excited. His blue shirt was clean and bright, and his hair was neatly combed. Slowly, some neighbors arrived. The little girl from the park came with her parents. Others came cautiously, not sure what to expect. Jamal's mother greeted everyone with a warm smile, and his father shared stories about their adoption journey. Jamal played with the children, showing them his toy cars and teaching them new games. Some neighbors smiled and started talking, asking questions and sharing stories of their own. The gathering was a small step, but it felt like a victory for the Williams family. They saw hope in the eyes of some neighbors who were willing to listen and learn. Yet not everyone joined the gathering. Some neighbors stayed silent or avoided the house altogether. The family understood that changing minds takes time. Jamal's father said to him one evening, "Sometimes people fear what they don't know. But with patience, we can help them see the truth." Jamal looked up at his father and smiled. He wanted to believe that one day, the whole neighborhood would welcome him. Day by day, Jamal grew braver. He rode his bike down the street, waved at neighbors, and helped his mother with small chores. The Williams family stood by him, showing love and support. Even though some neighbors still whispered and stared, the family knew their journey was about more than just fitting in. It was about teaching kindness and breaking down walls. Jamal felt happy when his parents held him close at night. He dreamed of a day when no one would call the cops on him or treat him like a stranger. The Williams family's love gave him hope that this neighborhood could become a home where everyone belonged. Weeks passed as the Williams family welcomed Jamal into their home. The little boy was growing more comfortable each day. His blue shirt was often spotted around the neighborhood as he explored with new curiosity. Jamal's mother, wearing her white dress, often watched from the window, her blonde hair catching the afternoon sun. His father, in his white shirt, spent time fixing things around the house, but always made sure to check on Jamal. One morning, Jamal woke up early and ran to the kitchen. He helped his mother make breakfast, stirring pancake batter carefully. The house felt warm and full of life. Jamal was beginning to feel that this place might really be his home. Outside, the neighborhood was slowly changing too. Some neighbors who had once kept their distance were now coming closer. A few children who had been shy before now greeted Jamal with small waves. The family next door even invited Jamal over for a playdate. Jamal was excited but still cautious. He remembered the day the police had come and the worried looks from some neighbors. The fear didn't go away overnight, but Jamal was determined to be friendly and kind, hoping to change how people saw him. One afternoon, Jamal's father decided to take Jamal to the local community center. They wanted to join a neighborhood event to meet more people. Jamal was nervous but trusted his parents. At the center, there were families from different backgrounds. Children played games, and adults talked and shared food. Jamal's mother, in her white dress, smiled as she introduced Jamal to new friends. His father, in his white shirt, chatted with other parents. Jamal found a group of kids playing soccer. Soon he was running and laughing, kicking the ball with joy. The event helped Jamal see that there was a bigger world beyond their street, a world that welcomed him. Some neighbors even came over to say hello, their faces softer than before. But not everyone was ready to change. A few neighbors still watched from windows or stayed inside, unsure about the Williams family's decision. Their whispers did not go unnoticed, and Jamal's family understood this was part of a slow journey. At home, Jamal's mother decided to start a small garden in the backyard. She wanted to invite neighbors to help and share the joy of growing something together. Jamal loved the idea. He helped plant seeds, watering them carefully each day. Slowly, some neighbors joined. Children came to play near the garden, and adults stopped by to talk. The garden became a small place of friendship and hope, showing that despite differences, people could come together. Jamal's father often said, "Sometimes to change the world around us, we must first plant the seeds of kindness." Jamal listened carefully, understanding that love and patience were important. One evening, Jamal sat on the porch with his parents. His mother's blonde hair shone in the moonlight, and his father's calm voice filled the quiet night. Jamal felt safe and happy. He knew that while some neighbors still doubted, many more were beginning to accept him. The Williams family was proud of how far they had come. Jamal's laughter was no longer a rare sound but a part of the neighborhood's daily life. Each smile and small friendship was a step toward breaking down walls. Jamal dreamed of a day when no one would fear him because of the color of his skin. He wanted a neighborhood where every child could play freely and every family could feel safe and loved. His parents promised to always stand by him, teaching him to be brave and kind. Together, they faced the challenges with hope and courage. The story of Jamal and the Williams family was not just about adoption or race. It was about the power of love to heal and bring people together. Several weeks after Jamal's arrival, the Williams family felt the neighborhood slowly shifting. Jamal's blue shirt was a familiar sight, and his laughter was starting to echo more often through the streets. His mother, in her white dress, spent mornings tending to the small garden she had started in the backyard, while his father, dressed in his white shirt, worked on fixing the fence that needed repair. One afternoon, Jamal was playing outside when an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Collins, came over with a warm smile. She carried a small basket filled with fresh cookies. "I thought you might like these," she said softly, kneeling down to Jamal's level. Jamal smiled back, shy but happy. This simple kindness meant a lot to him. Mrs. Collins had been one of the neighbors who once kept her distance. But as she watched Jamal help his mother water the plants and greet people passing by, she began to see him as part of the community. Little moments like these were changing hearts quietly but surely. The Williams family continued inviting neighbors to their home for small gatherings. They believed that getting to know Jamal personally would break down fears and misunderstandings. Some neighbors still hesitated, but others came eagerly, bringing food, stories, and smiles. One day, Jamal's father suggested organizing a neighborhood cleanup. He hoped that working together would build trust and friendship. The family put up flyers around the neighborhood, inviting everyone to join. On the day of the cleanup, Jamal wore his favorite blue shirt and grabbed a small rake. Many neighbors showed up, including children who played while adults picked up trash and planted flowers. The event was full of laughter and cooperation. Jamal felt proud to be part of it. Mrs. Collins worked beside Jamal, chatting with his mother about gardening tips. A few neighbors who had been quiet before started to open up, sharing stories about their lives and learning about Jamal's journey. Jamal's mother said, "Sometimes it takes small steps to build big bridges." The family hoped that these small acts of kindness and teamwork would heal old wounds. Even with these positive changes, some neighbors still looked on with suspicion. They whispered about change and feared what they did not understand. But Jamal and his family knew that change was happening, even if slowly. Jamal's father reminded him, "Not everyone will accept you right away, but don't lose hope. Keep being kind and the world will see the real you." Jamal tried to live by these words. He smiled at strangers, helped his mother around the house, and learned to be brave when facing difficult moments. One evening as the sun set, Jamal sat on the porch with his parents. His mother's blonde hair glowed softly in the fading light, and his father's steady voice filled the air with calm. Jamal looked at the stars and felt thankful for the love that surrounded him. He dreamed of a day when all neighbors would see him not as a stranger, but as a friend. A day when color would not matter, and kindness would be the only language spoken. The Williams family's journey was far from over, but each moment of acceptance, each smile shared, was a victory. Their story was a reminder that love and patience could break down the hardest walls. Jamal's place in the neighborhood was growing stronger every day, and with it, the hope for a better future. The neighborhood was preparing for a big event, a community barbecue organized by the local community center. Jamal's parents saw it as a perfect chance to bring people closer and help Jamal make more friends. Jamal wore his blue shirt with pride, excited but a little nervous about meeting more kids and neighbors. Jamal's mother, in her white dress, packed some snacks and drinks to share. His father, wearing his white shirt, checked that everything was ready for the day. They hoped the barbecue would show everyone how much Jamal belonged in the neighborhood. On the day of the event, families gathered in the park. The smell of grilled food filled the air, and children played games on the grass. Jamal ran toward a group of kids playing soccer. At first, some of them looked unsure, but when Jamal smiled and asked if he could join, they welcomed him warmly. Jamal felt happy and free. He kicked the ball, laughed, and made new friends. His parents watched from a nearby bench, their faces full of pride. Jamal's mother chatted with other parents, sharing stories about their family and the adoption journey. Some neighbors who had once been distant approached to say hello. A few even thanked the Williams family for bringing life to the community. Jamal's father spoke kindly, hoping to build trust and understanding. But not everyone joined the barbecue. Some neighbors stayed away, still unsure about Jamal and the Williams family. The family understood that change takes time and that some fears are deep-rooted. During the barbecue, Jamal's mother suggested starting a neighborhood project to help kids play safely outside. She talked about building a small garden and playground where children could meet and have fun. Many parents liked the idea and promised to help. Jamal was excited about the garden. He loved plants and wanted to help make a place where everyone felt welcome. He dreamed of a park filled with flowers, laughter, and new friendships. After the event, Jamal's father said, "Every small step like today brings us closer to a stronger community." Jamal nodded, feeling hopeful about the future. In the days that followed, Jamal continued to meet his new friends. He rode his bike down the street, waved at neighbors, and helped his mother water the plants in their garden. The Williams family worked hard to show kindness and patience, hoping to change hearts. One afternoon, Jamal helped an elderly neighbor carry her groceries inside. She smiled and thanked him warmly. Small acts like this helped break the walls of fear and build new connections. Jamal's mother reminded him, "Kindness can change the world even if it feels slow." Jamal believed her and tried to be brave every day. Some neighbors still whispered and looked from behind curtains, but Jamal did not let it bother him. He knew he was loved by his family and by those who had opened their hearts. At night, Jamal sat between his parents on the porch. His mother's blonde hair glowed softly in the moonlight, and his father's calm voice told stories of hope and courage. Jamal smiled, feeling safe and loved. He dreamed of a day when the whole neighborhood would welcome him as a friend. A day when no one would call the police on a child playing outside. The Williams family's journey was not easy, but it was full of love and hope. They knew that with time, patience, and kindness, their neighborhood would become a true home for Jamal and all its families. Jamal's presence in the neighborhood was becoming harder to ignore. His laughter and energy filled the streets, slowly changing the way people saw him. His mother, dressed in her white dress, continued to tend the garden she had started, while his father, in his white shirt, worked on small projects around the house. They watched Jamal with pride as he grew more confident every day. One sunny afternoon, Jamal was playing near the park when a group of children invited him to join a game of hide-and-seek. At first, some of the kids hesitated, unsure about including him, but Jamal's warm smile and friendly nature won them over quickly. Soon he was running and laughing, hiding behind trees and counting with the others. Jamal's parents sat on a nearby bench watching their son with happy hearts. They knew the journey wasn't easy, but moments like these made all the challenges worthwhile. After the game, Jamal's mother stood up and called out, "If you're enjoying this story, make sure to hit subscribe and follow for more real-life stories that touch the heart." Her voice was gentle but clear, reaching the ears of neighbors passing by. The Williams family had come a long way since Jamal's arrival. The garden in their backyard had grown beautiful flowers and fresh vegetables. Some neighbors had joined in to help water the plants and tend the soil. The garden became a symbol of hope and growth in the community. One day, Jamal's father organized a small neighborhood gathering at their home. He believed that sharing stories and spending time together could build stronger bonds. Families brought food, children played, and adults talked openly. Jamal's mother shared how adopting Jamal had changed their lives in wonderful ways. She spoke about love, patience, and the importance of acceptance. Neighbors listened, some with tears in their eyes, others with thoughtful smiles. Jamal's father said, "It takes courage to open our hearts and minds, but when we do, we find strength in our differences." The crowd nodded, feeling the truth in his words. Slowly, the neighborhood's fear and suspicion were replaced by understanding and friendship. Jamal was no longer seen as a stranger, but as a boy with dreams, hopes, and a big heart. Despite the progress, some challenges remained. A few neighbors still watched from a distance, unsure how to accept the change. But the Williams family refused to give up. They knew that every smile, every kind word, and every shared moment was a step toward a better tomorrow. Jamal's mother often reminded him, "Love is the strongest force. It can break down any wall." Jamal believed her and tried to live by those words. One evening, as the sun set, Jamal sat between his parents on the porch. His mother's blonde hair shone softly in the fading light, and his father's steady hand rested on Jamal's shoulder. He felt safe, loved, and hopeful. Jamal dreamed of a day when every child in the neighborhood could play freely without fear. A day when families of all colors could come together as one. The Williams family's story was a reminder that love, patience, and kindness could change lives and communities. After many months in the neighborhood, Jamal was no longer just the new boy. He had become part of the community. His blue shirt was a common sight as he played outside, laughed with friends, and helped his parents around the house. Jamal's mother, in her white dress, was proud of how far they had come. His father, wearing his white shirt, often spoke about the importance of kindness and patience. One day, the neighbors came together to start a community garden in the local park. It was an idea that grew from the small garden Jamal's mother had started at home. Families brought seeds, tools, and their time to help. Jamal was excited to plant flowers and vegetables alongside his new friends. The garden became a place where children played and adults talked. It was more than just plants growing. It was friendships growing too. Neighbors who once kept their distance now worked side by side, sharing stories and laughter. Mrs. Collins, the elderly neighbor who once hesitated, now smiled warmly as she planted roses next to Jamal. "You've brought so much life to this place," she said softly. Jamal felt proud and happy. He loved the garden and the way it made people come together. He helped water the plants every morning, and sometimes he even picked fresh vegetables for dinner. Despite the progress, some neighbors still held doubts. They watched quietly from their windows or avoided joining the gatherings. The Williams family knew that changing hearts takes time and patience. Jamal's father reminded him, "Sometimes the strongest trees take the longest to grow. Keep being kind and patient." Jamal listened and tried to be brave every day. He smiled at strangers, helped his mother, and played with his friends. Each small act was a step forward. One afternoon, a group of children asked Jamal to help organize a neighborhood game day. Jamal happily agreed. He helped plan races, tag games, and even a small talent show. The event was a success. Many families came out to watch and join. Jamal's laughter filled the air as he raced with friends and cheered for others. The neighborhood felt alive and connected. Jamal's mother watched with a smile, knowing their journey was making a difference. She said to Jamal, "You are helping to build a better place for all of us." Jamal's father agreed. "Love and kindness are the strongest forces we have. With them, we can overcome anything." That evening, Jamal sat on the porch with his parents. His mother's blonde hair glowed softly, and his father's calm voice told stories of hope and courage. Jamal felt safe and loved. He dreamed of a day when every family in the neighborhood would come together to celebrate and support one another. A day when no one would be called a stranger because of how they looked. The Williams family's story was a reminder that love, patience, and kindness could change a community. They believed in a future where everyone belonged. Jamal had been living with the Williams family for many months now. The neighborhood had changed too. His blue shirt was seen everywhere as he rode his bike, played outside, and laughed with friends. Jamal's mother, wearing her white dress, often smiled as she watched him grow happy and confident. His father, in his white shirt, stood proudly beside them, knowing their journey had not been easy but was worth every step. One afternoon, the neighbors gathered at the new community garden in the park. It was a bright and sunny day, and flowers bloomed all around. Families worked together, planting, watering, and sharing stories. Jamal helped his friends pick fresh vegetables to take home. Mrs. Collins, the elderly neighbor who once kept her distance, now helped organize events for the community. She smiled at Jamal and said, "You've made this neighborhood better for everyone." Jamal felt proud. He had faced fear and doubt but never gave up. His kindness and courage had helped change how people saw him. The Williams family's love had taught the neighborhood a valuable lesson, that love and patience could break down walls and build bridges. At a neighborhood meeting, Jamal's father spoke. "Our community is strongest when we come together. Every child, every family belongs here." Many neighbors nodded in agreement. Some still held worries, but most were ready to welcome change and friendship. Jamal's mother added, "It is our kindness that will shape the future for our children." The neighborhood was no longer a place of whispers and fear. It had become a place of laughter, friendship, and hope. Jamal dreamed of the future, a place where every child could play safely, where families of all colors and backgrounds came together to share joy and support. He knew the journey was not over, but he felt ready. With his parents by his side and a growing community behind him, Jamal believed in a better tomorrow. One evening as the sun set, Jamal sat on the porch with his mother and father. His mother's blonde hair glowed softly in the fading light, and his father's steady hand rested on Jamal's shoulder. He smiled, feeling safe, loved, and hopeful. The Williams family story was a reminder that even in the face of fear and doubt, love could create change. Jamal was no longer a stranger. He was a son, friend, and a symbol of hope for a neighborhood learning to embrace difference.